Welcome to the Nailsin Ratings. Yes, this will be a little different than the usual. Looking at some comicsgate type details here. Diversity&Comics, who, of course, whether he likes it or not, finds himself at the center of the comicsgate war. Anyway, there was recently two articles from the Federalist. One that was very pro diversity in comics, and the second one was not. Accused him of ginning up this supposed scandal over his Jawbreakers graphic novel and so on and so forth. It was a lazy article at best. It was lying at worst. Just several mistakes, and clearly the guy didn't really bother to even look at a few minutes of a Diversity in Comics video. And he had the timeline wrong and all this stuff. And so apparently upset about the comments about Heather Antos. Never bothered to find out, gee, why would he say that? She said some things. So you'd think if you're going to be a journalist of some sort, you might want to see what the whole story is before you go off on a rant like that. But turns out he has a graphic novel too, so yeah, he might want to fit in with the in crowd. A similar thing happens here, where Diversity in Comics did this video very recently on this guy, Zack Kaplan, who has this comic book, Port of Earth, and a fan who met him, as you can see in the image here, where the guy had it signed by the man and met him in person and all that sort of stuff. And so he tweeted his support for the comic book Port of Earth, and he used the hashtag movetheneedle. Now, hashtag movetheneedle came out of Diversity of Comics. What wasn't his idea initially, but the idea behind it was for comic book fans to take a picture of the comic books they like, and initially it was because you heard good reviews from it from people like Diversity in Comics and others, Captain Cummings, Douglas Ernst, a bunch of other people, and that would show that hey, it's actually a good promotion for people to get out there and buy comics that are good, that are actually inclusive. The problem here is when the argument of diversity is that there are people who are preaching diversity only for the aesthetic of it, not an actual case of diversity, where everyone, a certain look is only skin deep in some characters, and the idea of gender swapping and race swapping and this sort of thing, all in for the goal of diversity, without actually delivering any sort of in-depth plot or storylines that are really good and great, because they're so concerned about the messaging and preaching rather than what the story would be, and it drags it down. And that's primarily the problem with a lot of this stuff, with the political preaching that they do. And there's nothing, it's pervasive. It's mostly this was because of Marvel and whatnot. I can't go through the whole thing. It's too long, but you get the idea. If they had worried a little bit more about plot and whatnot, it probably wouldn't have been as bad. Case in point, Diversity in Comics himself even suggested that the idea behind the Captain Marvel comic, where she started to look more like a man, and so he said, why not go for that? Where the DNA from Marvel, since he was a man, gave her powers. It was mixed in with hers and rewrote her human DNA to where she has these Kree powers and whatnot. Well, why not follow through where it continues to rewrite her DNA and she becomes a man? That has science fiction in it. That has a more in-depth story if you were going to go for that. But no, they just want the cheap virtue signaling of it, of imagery and whatnot, and just girls kick ass, and that's it. And the stories pretty much fell flat because there was really not much to them. So that's one example. There were others where he said, if you wanted to go this way, you could have done it in a more in-depth and better, well thought out plot for your story. But no, No, none of that, because these people just aren't that good. And that's the problem. The Move the Needle is here's a comic that's good. That's all it means. And that I want to pay for this one because I want it. So it was not really anything. It wasn't based on race. It wasn't based on sex or any of that stuff. It was just whether or not it was good. The art was good. The writing was good, so on and so forth. But of course, the opposition to this is, well, it's a Nazi code word for something like that. And, the hashtag Move the Needle means hashtag white supremacy or white power. That's what it really means. And so that gets shopped around. And you can guess that perhaps Mr. Kaplan here heard just that little bit. And plus, he wants to be in the in crowd. He wants to be a part of the cool kids. And it could hurt him in the business. He could get flack and stuff. Look what happened to Diversity in Comics with his Jawbreakers. Had a deal with Antarctic Press, and then suddenly he didn't. All that whole story. And so you can conclude from that some would think, well, there's reason not to make too much noise and all that sort of thing. So you can only speculate here, but that could be the reason why he responded to this fan. Hey, Nasser, thanks so much for the praise, but I'm not trying to move the needle or support any movements that exclude anyone. Just trying to tell a good story. Respectfully, I don't think you should use that hashtag for my work. Well, you're excluding someone. You're excluding people who want good comic books. And that's all it means. But, yeah. So they exclude anyone. He's thinking this is homophobia, transphobia, or Islamophobia, or a racist code word of some sort. And which is odd, considering the guy writing to him, his name is Nasser Rabadi. I don't think Nasser is into white supremacy. I'm pretty sure we can make that guess. So he's really insulting the fan here. But anyway, now that Federalist article guy, the bad one, would probably say, see, Diversity in Comics is attacking this artist. He's just attacking him. No, he's dealing with what the man did, and he disagrees with his decision here to lecture his own fan, his own customer, who the customer, all he wanted to do was give him a compliment. And he said, hey, good book, Move the Needle. This is the type of book you guys should check out. It's good. And then he does this. So, not smart just in the raw business sense of making a living and being in the business of selling a product, in this case, a comic book. And then you go out of your way to do something like this. Well, that's not going to be smiled upon by many. So then I thought, hey, I wonder if he did get any garbage over this, because things can get nasty when people's emotions are trampled upon and whatnot. Well, apparently he deleted that tweet. Gee, I wonder why. But then Nasser responded to him and said, all right, I'll exclude it next time. Nasser, you didn't do anything wrong, but he likes this guy. He wants to be friendly with him. And it kind of looks like they know each other. So I guess, he remembers him when he met him at whatever convention it was or what have you, where he got his signature and everything. So anyway, Zack responds, but thanks again for being awesome, following my work, and I hope your writing is going well. Hashtag make comics. Well, so apparently Nasser is a writer too, and he's working on his own comic book and looking for an artist and all that, and they kind of chit-chat back and forth. And that's all well and good. So, and then I thought, well, it looks like he didn't get any crap for this, and everything's going to be all right, and he'll move on, which is usually how things go eventually anyway. But show more replies. Well, let's see. Oh boy, Joseph. Oh wait, all he said was, it's not a movement and doesn't exclude anybody. It means I buy your work and I support you in the most literal way, with money. You have a false assumption about a positive thing, which comics needs now more than ever. That's right. Good point, Mr. Ball, because quite a few stores are no longer with us. So, yeah, you need all the help you can get. You don't really want to shoo away a customer, especially one you know to be an awesome guy in your own words. So, oh boy. So anyway, so then I thought, uh-oh, looky here. Show additional replies, including those that may contain offensive content. Here we go. Uh-oh. Oh boy, they're going after poor Zack, and he just had a difference of opinion, And well, let's see what it is. Let's see. Oh, it's from this guy. The people behind hashtag Move the Needle are for true diversity of people and of thought. We do not exclude anyone. That's offensive, huh? What the hell? Oh, hashtag Move the Needle is an offensive term now. Yeah, as per Twitter rules. So pretty soon, I wonder if they're going to start, deleting accounts that use the hashtag. I don't know. But, and this, by the way, is a true statement. So there you go. There you are. Hashtag Move the Needle is now some sort of epithet. It's terrible, it's icky-kaka-poo-poo, and you should be ashamed. So, well, we learned something new today, didn't we? Yeah, we sure did. Oh, boy. Anyway, subscribe to Diversity&Comics. He's really good at this stuff. He is nowhere near the character they describe him as, and besides, you would owe it to yourself to check these things out rather than just taking someone's word for it. And also, check out Jawbreakers at his Indiegogo page. I'll leave a link to it in the description below. So, thanks for watching and listening. Why not like and subscribe? And also in my link description, check out the links to my mini stores that have loads of goodies for you.